I could tell that I was in a lot of trouble. And so that's how I ended up in rehab at 19. I mean, there's more to the story, but how much time do you have?
When you saw the adults in your life drinking, did you think, that's where I'm headed, or maybe I should steer clear?
So it's funny because I always think about, like, I had this alcoholic grandmother who, like, alcoholism was such a part of the fabric of our lives. When my grandmother would get drunk and throw up at different events. And I would always be like, Grandma, I'd be like, that's so, I guess all grandmothers get drunk and throw up at things. Like, I'd just be, it was like so in the fabric. And my grandmother would always say, I want a vodka, like with this very strong sort of Eastern European accent, even though she didn't really have an Eastern European accent, but she had it for vodka. And so I grew up with thinking that it's a lot of like, what would have been alcoholism seemed very normal to me. And it wasn't until I was sober many years that I realized that how abnormal a lot of the things I thought were normal were. I had a lot of children, which was not what I had planned, because I was an only child of like very narcissistic alcoholic parents. So I just assumed I would never have children, because why would I? And then I got pregnant by accident. So one of my kids is like, tell the story about how the older one is a mistake. And I was like, well, it's not a mistake per se, but I want it, like if I have anything on this earth, I am here to tell the truth, right? Like as much as possible. So I try to tell the truth. But yeah, so I got pregnant when I was like 24, and I was like, we're having this kid, and everyone around me was like, you are insane. And I was at the time 6 years sober. So I had a kid who is now 21. Oof. Yeah, I know, that poor kid. and then I had a ton of kids.
You had like more and more.
Yeah, I had a lot of kids and dogs and then I started writing about politics.
But why? Why does kids and dogs equal politics?
I mean, I think what happened was, I don't exactly know how it sort of started, but I thought nothing else mattered. All of a sudden, like, the only thing that mattered was this fucked up government that was fucking up our lives. And so that was how I got there. I think I've gotten a little smarter as I've been doing it, thank God, and a little more nuanced. And I've made a lot of mistakes. And what I do, which I think is actually really good, if I do say so myself, as I compliment myself here,
Bring it.
Is that when I get stuff wrong, I talk about how I got it wrong. So like the 2028, oh Jesus Christ.
No, don't.
No, I know. The 2024 election, like
drink.
After that election, there was a lot of like pundit firing squad, right? Everyone was mad at everyone else, and they were like, this is what you got wrong. And so I wrote a piece, I write these pieces for Vanity Fair, and I wrote a piece about all the stuff I got wrong. And I thought, oh, I am so smart. I wrote this piece, now everyone is gonna write all the stuff they got wrong. And instead, everyone wrote pieces about what other people got wrong.
Uh-oh.
Which I thought was like, I was like, well, what about, and I feel like if people read my writing, which is like the greatest honor, or listen to my podcast, they deserve for me to be honest, for me to say what is true. And actually, that gets me to this idea of like the Democrats. Like a lot of Democrats in this cycle ran on this idea that democracy was on the ballot. So if democracy is on the ballot, if this really is the emergency that a lot of us think it is, then they should behave like that. And they should not elevate their friends and do what's comfortable. They should do what's right for the American people.
How are you staying sober throughout all of this? Because to me, this is a particularly drink-inspiring time.
So I go to a lot of meetings. I'm probably not supposed to say that, but I'm like, if I can break my anonymity, I always do. And I actually do, because I'll tell you why, because why the fuck shouldn't I? Am I not supposed to curse? I'm cursing.
Fucking curse your face off.
So I got sober when I was 19, and when I got sober, I really thought I was the youngest person to ever get sober. And I did not think anyone had ever gotten sober this young, partially because I'm a little bit, I just was a little narcissistic or whatever. I really didn't. And I one of the ways that I got sober was that I met someone who had gotten sober at 19 and was like really old. She was like 30. And I was like, how does anyone live to be 30, you know? And, but I saw you could do it. So, like, I want to say that I'm sober in AA because I want you to know that you can get sober at 19 and you can stay sober for 27 years and go to a lot of meetings and live as like a, you know, pretty functional member of society, except for jury duty. I don't do jury duty.
How do you get out of that one?
I'm going to go to jail one day for jury duty. Don't tell anyone, but I definitely have a bench warrant for my jury duty arrest.
That sounds like a really good story.
Yeah, well,
Not
I'll
tonight?
call you from jail.
Yeah, okay.
No, I mean, I just haven't done it. So I'm definitely getting arrested for not doing jury duty. Please don't tell anyone.
No, I'm not telling you. That sounds awful.
When I am like in my life trying to make things happen, that is when I am at my worst. When I am like doing my AA and writing my pieces and, you know, just, I always say, I have all these kids who are like, you know, in this weird, almost adult phase. And I always say to them, like, you know, you push on the doors, right? And the door that opens, you go through, and the doors that don't open, you leave them, you know? And I felt like I have really just done what I'm supposed to be doing. I write my column every week. I do my podcast 10,000 times a week because they have too many days. I don't know why it's so many days.
It's 3 days, right?
No, it's 4 days.
What's the fourth day?
It's Saturday, too. No, it sucks. I'm sorry. But please listen to it. The podcast is good.
It's great.
I mean to say, the podcast is very good. My life kind of sucks.